Okay, this game is Kramnik Leko versus Leko 2004 in Brissago. Kramnik playing white played e4 and Leko plays e5. After knight f3 he plays knight c6, bishop b5 he plays a6. Leko's an exponent of the Marshall Gambit, named after the US champion Frank Marshall. And in this game we do get the Marshall Gambit variation. White doesn't chicken out with a side move. He plays c3 here, inviting this Marshall Gambit, which is the pawn sacrifice here on d5. So white takes the pawn, then takes this e5 pawn, which is gambited. So black plays c6, and this is all theory. The Marshall Gambit often runs to about 25 moves of theory, and one of the key modern ideas is that black basically gets a lot of aggressive pieces here against white's king. And this is a new invention, this rook e4, relatively new, still very theoretical. Leko now plays g5, which if bishop takes g5, black would have here queen f5 with slight advantage or clear advantage, e.g. bishop f4, just queen takes e4, and black's much better. If white takes this bishop, then bishop h3 is very dangerous. Say f3, queen e3, and it's a mate in 3 here. So anyway, we digress here. After g5, so basically bishop takes g5 is a bad idea. White played queen f1, and Leko continued queen h5. Now knight d2 was played. Bishop f5. Now f3, which is a classic exchange sacrifice and still theoretical. So the white player is willing to sack the exchange to get a mass of pawns in the centre, potential for e5 and then knight e4 later with a fantastic position. But Leko doesn't immediately take on e4, he plays knight f6 now. So this is quite a sharp position. What would happen here if, say, g4? Well, g4 leaves a mate in 1 with queen h2, so that's not such a hot idea. What did white play then? White really is getting less comfortable now about this exchange sack. Perhaps black is now also threatening g4 to further sort of undermine this exchange sack idea. So white actually just played a rook retreat now to e1. Now Leko played rook e8, so he's got a lot of pressure for the gambited pawn. Kramnik took on e8 and then played a4. So this is a classic counterattack against the Marshall Gambit to try and get something on the a file going. Leko played queen g6, strengthening this bishop on diagonal, now threatening bishop d3 in some variations. Or actually he plays it now. Then now he plays rook e2. So the pieces are very, very aggressive. And in fact, Kramnik's team had underestimated this continuation. They had been analysing with Fritz, but apparently one of the analysts hadn't put Fritz on long enough, so Kramnik just sacrificed his queen. Oops. Sacrificed his queen and took on a6, thinking that this pawn's going to be an advantage. However, Leko plays now a very powerful move, going into the heart of the white position, queen d3. And a7 now. My analytical assistant is not seeing why a7's such a bad move still, after a few seconds. And at the time of the game, the preparation would probably been on inferior technology. So why isn't a7 winning? Now it's not considering it. So really, a7, as we'll see, or we'll see now, we'll have a quick look. Why is a7 not winning? Black has queen e3 check. Now if king g2, there's a crushing move here. Bishop takes f3, knight takes f3, queen e2 check, with, believe it or not, a mate in 11. This pawn isn't going to queen with an advantage for white. Let's say king g1, and now knight g4. Queening, king g7, mate in 9 now, bishop e3 to stave off the queen f2. Knight takes e3 is mate in 8. Knight h4, g takes, bishop d5. These are all suicide moves. Let's go back. What is really black threatening here, apart from queen f2 check? Why can't, say, white just take on c6? So we have this position with queening, check. Now instead of bishop e3, say queen takes c6. Black now has queen f2, king h1, and actually here it's queen f1, knight g1, and knight f2 mate. So this is why this is all mating for black. So someone's really messed up with Kramnik's preparation to think that this pawn was going to be winning. It's a classic modern game where GMs have been perhaps too over-reliant on computer analysis, when the analysis has been the victim of what they call the horizon effect. The computer hasn't seen deep enough in this position and thought that white was winning this with this passed pawn. So queen d3 and the tables are turned. This is actually, it seems to be a forced win for black. Well, how did the game continue? Kramnik didn't play a7, he played king f2. So king f2. Now Leko continued with bishop takes f3, because after knight takes f3 he played knight e4 check, after king e1. Now here there's another spectacular move which smashes the white position really quite convincingly. It doesn't give this pawn a chance. I'll give you 5 seconds to see if you can see it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Knight takes c3. After bc, queen takes c3 check, king f2. Black's got a completely winning position. He can just take on a1 if he wants, and that should be winning as well as the game continuation. What he did play was queen a1. So after a7, he just plays h6. He doesn't bother taking on a7 immediately. And after h4, he plays g4, and white resigned. So this is quite a unique game for such a World Championship candidates game. Kramnik's team of assistants really let him down with this Marshall Gambit preparation. I think the move, apparently, which was underestimated in all this, was the queen d3 here. So let's have a quick look at this critical variation again. a7, check, and this lovely bishop takes f3 move, with the idea of the queen and knight being lethal, even after white queens. So bishop e3, knight e3. Or if queen takes c6, queen f2, queen f1, knight f2. So, what can we say about this game? Computers need to be used carefully in preparation. Anyway, brilliantly played game by Leko, and still shows that the Marshall Gambit hasn't been thoroughly analysed yet. Excellent.